Well, hello, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you for joining me again for another live Q&A session here on my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Angela. I'm a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator, and my channel is dedicated to those of you just getting started out in this wonderful world of voiceover and audiobook narration. And through my channel, I share with you some tips and tricks and techniques that I use every day in my own voiceover business, and I answer your questions in these weekly Q&A sessions, which I've come to love. If you're not new here, then you know that every week we have a poll, and today we're actually talking about, we have been talking about AI for a while now, right? But I wanted to touch on this today with a friend of mine because I think at this point, I think we all have different experiences with this so far. AI, namely in voiceovers. So I have my friend Eric here waiting in the green room to come in and talk to all of us today about our experiences so far with AI. But the poll was, oops, just arbitrarily clicking buttons again. Here we go. Okay. How are you feeling about AI voiceovers? So far, before I bring Eric in, I want to touch on where we are for the votes. We have 23 votes. 35% of you said you're optimistic. There's money to be made. There's money in them there hills, right? 35% of you said you're concerned. Now it's changing. 38% of you said optimistic. 33% said concerned. 4% of you said terrified. And 25% of you said not worried the trend will pass. So a lot of mixed emotions here, and I think they are all valid, and for whatever reason you consider it to be valid, but we're going to talk about how we're feeling about this and our experiences with it so far. So having said that, I'm going to take the poll question out and bring in Mr. Eric. Mr. Eric, let me put my ears on so I can hear you. How are you,
Hello.
friend? Everybody,
Hello.
Eric Priessman.
Hey. Good morning, everybody.
He goes by many names. If you're in our platinum group, then you know a few of them.
I'm sure they're all meant with the most love as well.
Of course they are, Eric.
Yeah.
We all love you. We don't know what to do without you in our meetings when you're not there
I'm
on
sure
your
you would manage.
when you're cruising or doing all the fun stuff that
I was
we
supposed to say there's not much else that takes me out of the game except that.
All right. So if you had to select something on the poll, what would your answer be?
And that's what we were saying before. So I don't see, remind me the questions right now. I don't have that. I see the comments, but I don't see the poll.
Okay, so how are you feeling about AI voiceovers? Are you optimistic? There's money to be made. Concerned, terrified, or not worried the trend will pass?
Not worried the trend will pass.
Okay. Okay, I think I'm kind of a mix between not worried the trend will pass. I'm hopeful that the trend will pass. I'm feeling the trend will pass, but I'm also a little concerned. And I'm just being really real here. A little
Sure.
concerned, but I think and I'm hoping that the trend will pass. Because I mean, I've already seen it. I think I've mentioned it to you guys in the group and then here also in the live chat that I've already had clients reach out to me and said, "Hey, I had this script narrated by AI and I hate it. Now I'm looking to you to help me do this in a more natural manner." Or the clients have to rewrite their script phonetically so the AI can pronounce things appropriately. So it makes me a little hopeful. I'm thinking that the AI voices are not going to be what everybody thinks they're going to be, and then they're going to hopefully come back to us to make things sound right.
And 2 months ago, you weren't getting those requests. So AI, the AI issue has been around for, let's call it 6 months, 4 to 6 months. And people might have been going to AI, but like I said, you in the last month or so have now started getting these requests to fix the AI mistakes. And I mentioned in our Thursday group once a book that I just recently did from an Australian author. He has a friend who did a book in AI, and his friends' reviews for that book were scathing with regards to the AI narration. So he brought that to my attention. So there's another, there may be the creators that are going, hey, we're going to use AI to save money, but when the finished product comes out, the their public isn't liking it.
I I can see that because I don't know about you, but I think most people echo the same. Whenever you're flipping through YouTube and find an interesting video and it's narrated in AI, I can't watch it.
Hmm. It's to us specifically, but hopefully to the public, that AI voice is noticeable and detracting.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not a fan, to be honest.
Mm-mm.
And I get from a consumer or another creative's perspective that it's cheap and it's fast and it's like no muss, no fuss, right? You would
Mhm.
think.
Mhm.
But if you're looking for something that requires a human touch or a human connection, you can't get that with AI. And not
Mhm.
only, I mean, AI is based on algorithms, right? It has a bank of voices or a voice in different emotional tones, and then it's relying on an algorithm to grab the right tone with the right word in its own bank. It's an already established bank, and then put together a sentence that hopefully conveys what they're trying to convey. I don't see how that's going to be, even with all of the technology and the learning and how fabulous. I mean, they are getting scary good. I'm not going to say they're not, but it's still an algorithm.
Mhm.
It's not going to have that human understanding, that human connection, that human
Right.
touch.
Right. It's getting good, but I still think there are subtle nuances that can determine between human and AI. And I don't I mean, computers are fast, or not fast, but they're learning fast. Maybe someday they'll bridge that little gap, but,
Mhm.
you know, there's in CGI on TV, when you get a CG actor, like, playing Peter Cushing in a Star Wars movie who's been dead for a long time, there's a thing called the uncanny valley. So you have animation characters, and they started getting better and better. You have Toy Story and all that stuff, they're getting better, and then
Mhm.
you got to this point where they're getting really realistic, but then there's this part where they look human, but what they call the uncanny valley, there's this space between really, really good and looking human, that the brain just goes, there's something not right about what I'm seeing. It
Yeah.
looks human, but I can somehow tell. I kind of feel the same way about AI generated speech. It might sound good on the surface, but there's going to be something just in the cadence or in the
Mhm.
word choice or something that it's just, it's not quite right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. I
What a
was
world.
I was thinking about, have you seen the new Black Mirror?
Yes.
Joan
Which
is
episode?
awful.
Yes.
The whole AI generated
Right.
that blew my mind. I was like, "Oh my god." I was like, "Unsubscribe from Netflix right away."
Exactly, because it could happen. I mean, it couldn't happen, but you're watching it going, how close are we to this?
Right, and that's the whole point of Black Mirror, right? Is to
Black
go
Mirror,
like,
right.
"Holy crap," right? But that was like, "Oh my god, I never thought of that. That is
Yeah.
insane."
Yeah. Hold
Oh
on,
god.
am I real right now? Is this am I
And
really
may I
here?
point out for everybody else, if you haven't noticed Eric's shirt, I was like, "Oh my god, I love it." It's a peachy folder. Come on. You're the best, Eric.
Let us know in the comments if you understand the generational reference.
All right, let's hop over to the comments and see who's here. Let's see who's first in. Oh, it's our buddy Sean Lester. He says, "I'm first. I get the first question." I don't have one yet, but I am the teacher's pet today. So that's something. Thanks for doing this voiceover, Angela. Um, Thank you for being here, Sean, as always. I always appreciate all of you guys joining and contributing and joining the conversation and spending a little bit of time with me and Eric today.
Yay. Hi,
So
Sean. Morning.
let's see who's next. Tess Stalker. Hello, everyone, from beautiful, albeit warm, Dracula. I don't know if you saw me say that couple weeks ago. How long ago was that, Tess? It's Dracula. She told me how to pronounce it, but I was like, I wanted to say Dracula, so now it's Dracula.
You and everybody else.
Right? Is it Tanya? She just joined our platinum group. Is it Tanya or Tanya? I don't want to say it wrong because I've known both pronunciations. Tanya, I'm hoping it's Tanya. Hi all, I'm so glad to get to listen in to one of these live. Well, we're glad that you're here. Look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Caesar, Spicy Caesar, we're going to call you.
Good morning, Caesar.
Good morning, Caesar. Hi, Angela. Starting to put my spicy voice to work and narrating my first book. I feel like AI voiceovers can go one of two ways. It'll become an automated built-in feature or it will lose popularity. I think it might get to both. I think it might become it already is in some places an automated built-in feature, but will it stay? Because I think what we're not thinking about are the end users. We're thinking about the creators that we're making this for and the ease of use, the cost effectiveness, all of these things for the creator that's using it. But what is the end user's opinion going to be about it?
Yep.
Just like me, just like Eric, just like anybody else who feels the same way about a YouTube video that's got AI narration, not because I'm a voice actor. They grated on my nerves even before I became a voice actor when they were, of course, at the start of AI voices, they weren't that good, but still it irritates me. There's something about it that's just unnatural and I couldn't listen to it. So how are the end users? How are these clients, these, products going to be received? Audiobooks like your author,
Yeah.
I don't know how well these are going to be received by the end users. So
I think as I read Caesar's question prompted an answer, it's going to depend on what they use it for. Think about how many times you've dialed a business from Delta Airlines to some local thing down the street wherever you live, and they have a clearly automated IVR. And you're just listening to it going, oh my God, you're listening to it going, this is horrible, it's terrible. But the creator, the owner of that doesn't care. You're on the phone, you're going to press 1 for that, you're going to press 2 for that. It's not something they need to invest the thought or the concern about, oh my God, they don't like my IVR. You're not calling this business for the voiceover aspect. You're calling it to book a flight or whatever, so they don't care. Something longer term, a book or a long video project or something where you need the detail in it, that might be where it's more important. So you're going to have creators that are like, I just need this quick thing done, and I don't care what people think. It's not going to matter because once I have them listening to it, it's already done its purpose. So there's that. Versus something longer where people are going to have an opportunity to critique it or come back and go, this doesn't sound good, this is bad. You've never told Delta Airlines, oh, by the way, thank you for booking my flight, but your IVR tree sucks. You've never told them that,
right,
because the person you're talking to on the phone doesn't know, care, or can fix it anyway.
Yeah.
So that's, I think it's going to depend on what the AI is being used for. I think that's going to be a big factor.
Yeah. And I think people of our generation, when we called into a lot of places before the World Wide Web was a big thing and made, doing anything easier, that we were kind of used to the automated IVR voice, right?
Yeah.
And it didn't really bug me then because that's just what it was. But now that times have changed and technology has changed, and now that a lot of companies that, my experience anyway, that I call into don't really have that automated IVR anymore. Very few do in my experience anyway.
Okay.
And so it's not very commonplace anymore. Now that I've tasted, so to speak, the real thing when I call in to talk to somebody, I don't know if I could go back to every time now I hear the IVR, I'm like, I don't like that. Maybe it's also a little biased because now I record those myself, but
I think so. It's got something to do with it.
But, and you and I talked about this before we started here, but I think what's going to be most important for all of us going forward is sounding as natural as possible. And I know I've mentioned that before in another live, but maybe even leaving in a breath, leaving in mouth noise, leaving in something that AI can't do. right?
Yeah.
So our clients don't think that we're AI because along with the old school IVR thing, when people would call in, it's automated phone messages. And then now we have Alexa and Siri, and we're almost familiar with all of these AI voices, particular ones. And if you're someone like myself who sounds like them, then it's easy to go, okay, well, you sound like Alexa, so therefore you must be,
Mhm.
right? It's going to be important for anybody just to make them as natural sounding as possible. And that also comes with, I think in the beginning, we've heard this a billion times that you sound like you're reading, right? Or you sound like you're reading words instead of just telling me a story. That can be confused as AI as well because
Mhm.
it doesn't sound very natural. There's no flow of conversation. So I think for all of us here, there's 37 of us here watching all together. We just need to practice, 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 and try our best
Yep.
to sound as natural as possible to not remove or over edit our files so they
Yes.
are just completely
Sterile.
devoid
Yep.
of room tone, even room tone, because a lot of us like to use silence in between our words, and that's always a bad idea.
Yeah.
Leave room tone. Even the room tone is indicative of a non-AI voice, right? Room tone, breaths, all of that stuff. I mean, leave it in there.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to.
Yeah. Yeah. It's we're in that flux time where we don't know which way it's gonna go.
Yeah.
So,
But we'll see. Oh,
yeah.
we just got a super chat. Sean thought of a question. Sean says, thank you for the super chat, by the way, Sean. In my honest opinion, AI will eliminate the need for mediocre VO talent. Should we think of it as just another competitor? How can I be better than the computer? Well, you already have an advantage over the computer in that you are human. So give
Yeah.
it the human touch. Be human. Sound human. I wouldn't think of it as a competitor. I think of it kind of what just Eric was just saying about, it's going to take, and I've heard it used this way before, but like the low hanging fruit, like for the clients who don't really care how their end result is received. It's just fulfilling a purpose. It's just
Right.
fulfilling a need. It's not meant to do anything other than that. That I think will become where most of the AI goes, but I mean, in my heart of hearts, I can't see commercials or audiobooks or anything that needs, you know, emotion, just that humanity. I don't I don't know if those would ever, I mean, they might try, but I don't know how
Right.
well they'll be received by their audience, right?
Exactly the point. Yeah. They'll try. Again, the AI right now is very sparkly and shiny for the creator. I
Yeah.
think the vast majority of the customers are going, maybe not so much.
Yeah. And not only with voiceover, but AI is starting to take over and ruffle a lot of feathers with not only writers and photographers, but a few other creators as well. So I think all of the creatives are sort of standing up and saying, let's pump the brakes on this AI thing. And I think
Yeah.
a lot of people, I'm hoping a lot of people will start to get in line with that and support the creatives that this is affecting. And
Yeah.
hopefully, I'm hoping we'll do something about it. Regulate it, something.
Regulators.
Mount up.
Mount up. Generational.
Right.
Showing
All
our
right.
age.
That's okay. I'm old. I'm fine with it. Okay. Where did we go? Brianna. Brianna
Yeah.
Waybright. This is Annie. Hello, Annie. I was scared
Morning.
at first, but I've watched a lot of videos on the fundamentals of how AI works, and it just isn't at a point where it is even capable of understanding the nuances of speech. Perfectly said. Perfectly said, Annie. I agree with you. Eric.
Hmm. No, she's nail and head have been met.
And then Caesar says, either way, it will never fully replace human voiceover for things that require more nuanced performances.
Yeah. See, we're getting everybody's circling around the same
Uh-huh.
thought.
Yeah.
It's all about the nuance.
Yeah. I think that is, and I think everybody else understands that aspect, and which is why not a whole lot of you said terrified in the poll. Because now we're down to 2%. 2% of you said terrified out of 42 votes. So maybe one person. So I I wouldn't say be terrified, but another thing we need to touch on that we spoke about earlier is I've all of the concern I've seen in my Facebook groups that I belong to about people being called out as being AI. Like the clients, they submit the order and the client uploads their file into some sort of an AI detector site. And it says, oh, this is 80% probability that this is AI or 100% probability that this is AI. And I think that is just kind of weird and scary, first and foremost. But I think that also goes back to how you edit your file. If the clients are doing this and you have no breath, no room tone, nothing indicative of being human, then this site that detects AI is going to probably more than likely say that you're AI because it's probably looking for those little aspects in your file to determine if it's artificially created or not, I would think.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We've heard lots of examples where it's very easy to overprocess.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And not just that, but not just the room tone and the breaths and stuff like that, but if you're putting too much effects on your voice too, like noise suppression. If you put too much noise suppression on your audio, then that takes out the warmth of your voice and makes you sound tinny
Yeah.
or artificial. So that
Yeah.
could definitely be another factor too.
Yeah.
Oh, we just got another super chat. Hold on.
Super chat.
Writer Dude. I love this username. Writer Dude. Thank you for the super chat, Writer Dude. One advantage for humans is that it is easier for a human to do several variations of a script. Yes, tweak it to fit what is really needed. Absolutely. And then another thing that you could do just to, solidify the fact that you are human is to, like, if you're on a site like Fiverr or Upwork or one of these things where you have the option to have or to offer a live directed session,
Yeah.
that could definitely eliminate the fear that you're
Kills it
using an
right there.
AI. Kills it right there. Yeah, because you're working live with the customer.
And that's a thought I haven't even considered this. What would happen if you told an AI to read the same sentence or paragraph again? Would it read it exactly the same way, or would there be difference? I'm
Maybe
curious.
that's something that we need to
hasn't come up.
experiment with.
I haven't heard that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that makes me go back to thinking about that client that I had that had the script that was all written out phonetically. Like the letter I as an I was spelled out AI to say it properly. Confirmation was spelled out as Khan, as one word, and then the second word was formation. Just to get confirmation was for the AI to say it properly. It had to be phonetically spelled out like that. Just weird. Weird. All right, let's get back up. Oh, I just saw this comment. Somebody's with us. Corey J. VO artist says, regulators. I love it.
Corey's old.
Welcome to the old club, my friends. Okay, where did we leave off? Okay,
Edward
I think
was
we
last.
are.
Kara. We're on Kara. Yeah.
Here we go. Kara. Howdy, everyone.
Morning, Kara.
Morning, Kara. Stu Blank says, good morning, all. Happy Taco Tequila Tuesday.
I'll buy that.
Still submitting auditions. No bites yet. Going through the grind and continuing to apply. Getting responses asking if this is an AI audition. Yeah, and you might. I think maybe based on what we were just talking about. So, and I'm almost wondering if our auditions should be like very minimally processed or edited, right? To leave your auditions with maybe the jump off, like, to start your script off or add in a hey. When you throw in extra words to make the script sort of work for you in your head to get it out correctly, leave that stuff in. Maybe leave the breath, maybe leave a retake. I mean, God, I don't know what we're supposed to do, but I mean, that's a thought for auditions. What do you think, Eric?
It's an interesting thought, but it brought me immediately back to something you said long time ago. To me specifically, was when you're submitting an audition, you're sort of trying to put your best foot forward, and that includes editing and processing. So you don't want the author to hear it and go, because you didn't process it, and I could be over analyzing this. You didn't process it properly. You don't want the author to go, this guy doesn't even know what they're doing in the studio. So I'm
Yeah.
it would
So I'm
it made
conflicted.
it made me think of, you said add a word, and I'm thinking, what about if at the beginning you said something not on the script? Hi, my name's Eric, and I'm if you said something that wasn't there and then moved into the audition, or vice versa at the other end. I don't know, but
I still stand firmly on that belief because, I mean, if you're talking about audiobooks on ACX, I mean, those authors probably, and if Joy is here somewhere, she could probably,
she's there.
echo that. But they see hundreds of auditions. I'm sure they can't even get through all of them. So even if they hit play and there's a 30-second wait before the narration starts, or
Next,
a dog barking next door, they're not even going to listen to it. So I still firmly stand on, have it sound like the final product for an audiobook audition. But now with this, I mean, what do we do? Do we add a slate? Do we start bringing back the slates just to prove that we're not AI? Or do we just focus mainly on the processing aspect?
let's take just this as an example. So you said you've submitted an audition and they've come back with something that says, we think you're AI. At that moment, probably your best bet is just to go back to the buyer, to the author, and say, what can I do? I'm not AI. What can I do to convince you otherwise? Yeah, that's the only thing I think of to do next. Can we meet video face to face? Can I send you another, like Caesar said, a different variants? I don't know.
Or a video audition.
Yeah, that's what I mean. When that happens, I think that's the only thing. That's the only next step, is to say, okay, I'm sorry you feel that way. What can I do to convince you otherwise?
Yeah. Interesting. And if you guys have opinions or thoughts, please share them. Put them in the comments. That's what we're here for. Let's figure this out. Let's have a game plan. Mike Russell says, good afternoon. Do you recommend a profile pic or company logo on your ACX profile? I say profile pic. I say anywhere that you have a profile, have a picture of you, eye contact, the person, the consumer, your client, whomever, whatever you're doing. They want to see the whites of your eyes, my friend. They want to see who they're working with. Profile pic for sure.
And that will make a small difference in thinking, if they just saw a company logo, oh, this could be AI for all I know. I don't know. It's a subconscious thing.
Or a bot or a scammer or somebody who's not really interested in showing me their face.
That's
what are they hiding?
Yeah.
Right? Always profile pic, I think. Deanna Forsyth says, hi, sweet Angela. Well, hello, sweet Deanna. Your life is the same as another, but I'll watch this later.
Oh, you lost today. She flipped it. Deanna, at least tell her you flipped a coin, and she, it was a 50-50 thing.
That's funny. That's okay. Team playback or team replay, right?
It's delayed gratification. She's saving the best for last.
There you go. See, Eric? All right.
You got to look at the bright side.
Brianna says, or Annie says, I used ChatGPT to write the bare bones of some scripts for my new meditation YouTube channel, and it was a huge help. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. I mean, AI in all its variations is not, I don't think, is a bad thing. I just think there needs to be a little bit of regulation and some, like, how we can use it. Because, I mean, as we know, there's software out there that can just listen to you for 3 seconds and then replicate your voice. There's the deep fake voice. There's all of this stuff that is sort of on the nefarious side of things. I mean, if we could just kind of, I don't know, make it a little bit more regulated and protect creators a little bit better, I think I wouldn't have a problem with it. It's meant to be helpful, not to completely upturn everything and everything, everybody and everything creative.
Yeah.
Right? Well. Oh, Joya says the cruise director. So she is here.
Good morning.
Jim Cecil says, we will, as a group, be squeezed. Unfortunately, many folks don't care about quality and they just buy cheap. Yeah, and I think that's true for, like Eric was saying later, personal opinion, that the creators that just don't like it, doesn't really have any other purpose. The voiceover doesn't have any other purpose than just to fit, one silly thing that doesn't really even matter. Like emotion and connection, all those things just don't matter. It's just fulfilling a purpose. But everything else that does require that, I think voice actors are going to be the way to go. Yeah, but you're right. There are going to be some companies where that's going to be applicable for them, but maybe a small fraction, I would hope. Pamela says, good day, y'all. Good day,
Pam.
Pamela. Good to see you. Mary's also here. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Caesar says, hi, Eric. Love your Battlestar Galactica stuff.
You're out.
You're fired. I'm kidding. I know it's Star Trek. You're awesome, Eric. We love you.
Okay, he can stay.
Writer Dude says, I am concerned, but AI is still a little more than a fancy toy at this point with its limitations. Not much better than a text-to-speech app. And I think it will continue to get better, but I don't know if it'll ever have that human connection that a lot of our work requires.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, even with as big as the immersive audio, the radio shows, the fully produced podcasts, like where there's a troupe of actors come together and it's fully produced with the music and the sound effects and stuff. I mean, AI can't do that either. The emotion in those things is. Did you ever listen to Catchers on Audible?
I have not.
Go listen to that. That is exactly what I'm talking about, because I listened to that and I really fully enjoyed it. And that's sort of what we're talking about doing in our group, is that that group project that we're doing in our group.
Yeah.
Sort of like that whole immersive audio group thing.
Okay.
Excuse me, hairball. But there's no way, as I listened to that, the AI could do that and have it sound half as entertaining and authentic, yes, as it did. And that's beginning to become more popular again. This fully produced immersive audio. Radio plays. Think radio plays. It was really good.
Okay.
Caesar says, hi, Joya. Can you imagine AI narrating one of your books?
Yeah.
No.
I would be interested in hearing that.
Just to see?
For the other people who don't know, we're talking about spicy books. And so that's a valid point, I think, because as good as AI is, if you've narrated or listened to a spicy book or read a spicy book, there are certain ways you need to read certain things different than a regular book. I mean,
PG-13, this channel's PG-13, Eric.
Of course. I'm just saying there's certain ways you need to read that an AI can't read the text and know that they're supposed to read it that way.
Right.
So that would be actually an interesting experiment, is to hear it try.
Entertaining anyway.
Yeah.
And then here's Sunny. Hey, Sunny. Hey, guys. I think it's a mistake to judge the quality of AI at this point. It's still so new, like telling a 7-year-old that they're not good enough to do VO. Comment continued. Oh, boy. Let's see. Oh, here it is. I can see IVR jobs completely disappearing. Words are more powerful than we tend to think. They're not just chunks of data. If AI can satisfy the human desire for connection, then we're in trouble. Yeah,
Very eloquent way to put it.
Yes, Sunny has a way with words, but I don't think it's at that point yet.
No.
Caesar says the thing about Black Mirror is that their premises are terrifyingly plausible. Yes, I think that's what I like most about that show, is that it leaves you wondering.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How
close are we to this?
What if that was actually the case? That would be just...
the other one that I found that was super, super close to reality was the one a season or two ago with Bryce Dallas Howard, whichever.
Nosedive. That's one of my favorites.
Where everybody has a score, and you like, because that was really close to
oh my God. Yes. Yeah. I was like, oh my goodness. And everybody, you couldn't buy a house, you couldn't get the job you wanted. It all depended on your like rating.
Your likeness. Yeah. That was close to home.
Yes, that was terrifying. But I'm sorry, and she also corrects me. It's Tanya. Thank you for that.
Tanya.
I hate pronouncing people's names wrong.
Sure.
So Tanya says, "Peachy folders."
Peachy.
That is so cool. I
Hey,
love your
Hey,
shirt.
Tanya, stay cool this summer. See you next year.
Keep in touch. Ryder Dude says, "Good morning from Keith and Renton, Washington." Glad to have you here, Ryder Dude, and thanks again for the super chat. I appreciate you. This was Sunny's continued message, and then we have Tess. "I could see it consuming large portions of e-learning, whiteboard, etc., but audiobooks require too much emotion at this point." Duckula.
Exactly.
Duckula. I'm just going to continue with Dracula because I like that better.
Where do you live? I live in Dracula.
I live in. I mean, come on. Who would want to say that?
So you need to sign up. You start a petition to change the city's name.
I think the same could be said of e-learning whiteboard. I think that also doesn't require necessarily emotion, but it needs to be engaging because pace, tone.
You're already halfway to coma when you're sitting in a meeting where someone's got e-learning. You're already not wanting to be there.
Right. And the idea is to not get the listener to fall asleep.
To have a stroke.
You want them to retain what you're saying.
Yeah. No, that's very, I mean, you're, like I said, seriously, you already don't want to be there. So anything like that, you need to, that's where, someone like Sean's voice comes in to perk the person's ears up again, to draw them back to whatever it is they're talking about.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know about the whole thing. We'll just see. Michael V's here. Hey, y'all. Just sitting here with one eye closed after having retina surgery?
Ouch.
Oh my gosh. That does not sound fun at all. Well,
hopefully you have a patch on it. You're like a pirate.
Yarr! I would.
I would.
Okay, now we're getting slap happy. Okay, Corey J. VO Artist says, "Greetings from Whitehall, Wisconsin." Well, welcome, Corey J. Caesar says, "Hey, Michael, hope that heals up soon. Depth perception is important for not bumping into..." Oh, no.
Caesar has the sense of humor also.
Caesar is a hoot. I love Caesar.
He's a hoot.
And then Caesar says, "I think for the most of us, the most grating AI voice right now is TikTok's Jessie text-to-speech. She was voiced by artist Kate Callahan. Wonderful human being, but the algorithm has made her over perky."
It's exactly what I was talking about before we started. I thought, Caesar, that voice was a complete AI, completely generated. And then recently I saw a video of her going, "Hi folks, this is me. I'm this voice." And I'm like, oh my God, it's a real person. Yeah, that's exactly who I was saying before.
And it's a completely different voice. Her normal voice versus the TikTok voice are just two completely different things. It's crazy.
But that TikTok voice, it's nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah, I like the gentleman's voice that you can use on there. The deep, it almost has an accent, I think. I can't quite place it at the moment, but I like that voice better. You can still tell it's AI generated, but
yeah.
You know what? Let's check the poll really quick. Where did we leave off? We're on this cute little kitty face for Kelsey. Okay, let's just check the poll. So again, if you're just joining or you're in the replay, just scrolling through halfway through the video, today we're asking about how are you feeling about AI voiceovers? I mean, let's talk about it. Let's just all talk about it because I see some people in this community touch on it here and there. And then there's some sites that offer training and coaching and all these things that sort of, they'll release an article or a blog, but I don't really see a whole lot of people getting together and talking about this, right? Some people will get on and say, well, here's how to overcome it, or here's how to do this or that, or how to protect yourself. But how does this make you feel? What are your thoughts and feelings? Let's figure out some ways that we can cope, some ways that we can maybe not get mistaken for AI. What are these sites? Does anybody know what this AI detection site is? If you do, please put it in the comments so we can check it out. But I'm sure a Google search would probably remedy that question, right?
Sure.
But let's just check the poll really quick. So how are you feeling about AI voice? We got 60 votes. I think this is the most amount of votes I think I've ever had that I can recall. So out of 60 votes, 23% of you said optimistic. There's money to be made. 48% of you said concerned. So almost half. 3% said terrified. And then 26% said not worried the trend will pass. And that's kind of how I feel about it. I'm not so much optimistic. I'm more of the concerned and not worried the trend will pass. I'm kind of a mix of those two. But it's just kind of one of those things where we just have to see how it plays out and just do what we can to protect ourselves and maybe prevent being, mistaken as AI in auditions and things of that nature. We'll see. All right.
Time will tell.
Time will tell for sure. All right. Why does it always lose my place?
Kitty cat, Kelsey V, 9:17
Yeah, but where
a.m.
did she go? There she is. Kelsey. Hey, Angela. Hope your Tuesday is going well. It's going just ducky so far. Kelsey, thank you. Doing some direct marketing work right now for both admin and VO work. Well, that's cool. Direct marketing is important. I don't do enough of it, admittedly. I need to just hunker down one day, and because I have the MailChimp. I don't even know if I want to keep that. I know there's several other ways to email market, like other tools, online tools that you can use for that, like CRMs and such. But do you do email marketing,
I
Eric?
don't. I haven't. I mean, I know it's an option with Wix. I have not dipped into that.
That's right. Wix does offer that. Wix offers that and social media marketing and all kinds of stuff that you can do through Wix anymore. I'm sorry, but I got to turn my air conditioner on. Hold on. It's going to be like 105 today. Sorry. Go ahead.
Lovely Phoenix.
Yeah, I know.
I'm the biggest, one of the biggest offenders of poor self-marketing, poor marketing. There's so many things that I should, need to do. And my biggest reason is I don't get a lot of it. I don't understand it, or I don't know. I can't tell you why I haven't. I can't tell you why. Some intimidation's going on.
Because it's work. I mean, I'm not saying that you're afraid of work, but I mean,
No,
just something else to learn. It's something else to learn and figure out. It's like getting into Fiverr for the first time. Everything's foreign. You don't know what the heck you're doing, what's right, what's wrong, but that's definitely a topic that we need to discuss, I think, at some point.
Yeah.
Caesar. The only time when AI should be concerning is when they become self-aware. Yeah. Voice my TikTok videos, Hal. I'm sorry, Dave. I cannot do that.
Yeah, but see, at least in his example, Hal is saying no. He's not willing to. Yes, I will do that. I will take over your existence.
I will not voice your silly TikTok video.
It's beneath me.
It is beneath me. Leslie says, howdy. I am not a fan of AI for books, nor for e-learning or explainers. The strange, flat, random inflections in pronunciation is disrupting, and I get frustrated listening.
Yes.
Leslie, yes. Gold star. Great comment. Oh, we already saw regulators. Okay, here's Kelsey again. I listened to an AI of Kevin Conroy's Batman. It just wasn't Kevin Conroy. It sounded like him, but it didn't have his inflection or choices he would have made as an actor. Yeah, I think that's bad news bears. Joya says, stop over-exaggerating your punctuations and making the read flow better. Run-on sentences in VO sound natural, where adding too many pauses sounds like AI. And that's... like being too articulate, and also it's something we talk about in the Platinum group about just kind of not allowing yourself to get stuck in the punctuation prison. Yeah. If the comma isn't necessary, don't pause there. It's just add the pause somewhere else. Just add the pauses where it feels like there should be one.
Whereas an AI might see the comma and read it as a comma. It reads every,
or pause there to make it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so change it up and read, because the written word is not the same as the spoken word. They're two different things.
Said it many times.
Many times. So read it or narrate it as you feel it best sounds, verbally, out loud. Right? Does that make sense? I
Yeah.
feel like I'm just...
No. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Good
point, Joya. Brian Cross says, I work in the video game industry as well, and I can tell you artists in all disciplines, including VO, are concerned. The coming years will be interesting for sure. I think that's a good way to put it. Interesting. Yeah, we'll see. A voiceover Van Deen is here. I'm niching down more on my locally accented work, as it hasn't quite caught up on the finer emotional nuances of speech, especially for local dialects and accents, at least not yet. That's a good point, too.
That's too. Yeah.
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 That would take, I think, these companies hiring, and this is why I put the option in there for today's poll of optimistic there's money to be made, because these companies training these AI models with all of these different accents, dialects, and so on and so forth, they need a very large bank of voices and emotions and reads and tones for each actor to be able to make a new AI voice as best as it could be. So there's a lot of voice actors that are jumping on that train and like licensing their voices for this use. So there is money to be made in that respect. But that sort of takes you out of the picture for any... I mean, also the contract, I think, would be concerning too, because if you're going to be licensing your voice for that, would you still be allowed to use it for other things, or would you be specific to that company? I guess that would depend on the contract, but... Or am I thinking way too deeply into that?
No, not necessarily. The other half of that is, once they, being AI creators, have sampled enough voices and they have the perfect voices, they're not going to be needing to hire anybody else to add to their database. That's a finite pool. Once the AI has learned enough, okay.
I think if we're talking about companies that are... I guess in my head, I'm thinking about companies that want to offer a multitude. Think of voices.com, Voice123. They have thousands of choices of voices, voice types, accents, dialects. So if a company wants to have a large pool for their clients to choose from, that's going to take a lot of voice actors.
Yeah.
And those voice actors are going to have a lot of work to do, a lot of recording to do in different tones.
You mean in order to build their
bank?
database?
Yes, to build their database for that one actor.
Okay.
I wouldn't do it.
No.
But,
no.
If it's your bag, do it.
But that's my point. To me, that seems like a one-time shot. They've paid you for your voice this one time. They're not going to need to pay you again. If you're doing narration or doing voiceover for real, then the client's going to come back to you again for the next project and the next project and the next project. If you're getting paid, even if it's a big chunk of money to sample your voice, that's a one-time thing. They're done with you. They don't need you anymore.
And that goes back to the contract, because if the contract is just a one-time lump sum buyout in perpetuity, you get nothing else, then okay. But what if there's royalties involved, or what if there's some sort of an exclusivity clause? Right? I mean, you'd really have to pay attention to that contract before you even looked into doing something like that.
Can of worms.
Right. Okay. Yes, maybe have your attorneys look at it before you sign it too.
Get attorney.
Writer Dude says AI detectors are BS, I think. I have tested such programs that are supposed to detect gender and other things in emails and such. They were usually wrong. There is a way to work around them. Okay. So, well, that's encouraging. I don't know what these sites are, but I wouldn't put my complete trust in one. Because those of us that work with ACX, we know that the audio lab isn't 100% correct all the time.
Right.
So software can only take snippets of something and put it through their algorithms and then spit out an answer, yes or no. But it doesn't mean that it's always going to be right, because there's so many different subtle nuances to speech and voices and tone. But if you're over processing, that tells me right away that the software can probably pick up on the, there's
Mhm.
silence instead of room tone. There's no breaths. There's no so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But so then how do we respond to the clients if they come back and say, well, I just put your audio file through an AI detector and it says that you're an AI? I mean, how do you respond to that? Well, your site, according to Writer Dude, is BS. So
Yeah. Yeah. Or you say, do you want me to do it again? I'll do it again. Let's do
Yeah.
it live.
That's probably the better way to handle it.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like a simple solution when you get called out as being AI.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, a video call would usually solve that.
Yeah.
Joy West says, hello, everyone, from rainy Southfield, Michigan. Rainy sounds nice right
Good
about
morning.
now. Uzma's here. Hi, everyone, from Pakistan. Welcome,
Wow.
welcome. Nay B says, hi. Hi.
Hello.
Is there any official terms and copy and paste for buyout rights? Official terms and copy and paste for buyout rights. Client wants to distribute my voice on Apple and Spotify. This would be correct and different from broadcast rights. Thanks. Official terms and so are we talking about like Fiverr, Upwork, or something like that? Or are we talking about where buyout rights? So
Or is she talking about, is there a place where I can copy and paste for their here are the, maybe, I don't know if she's talking about that. If she's looking for official terms for I don't.
Is that what you're looking for, Nay? Is something to use for an explanation of buyout rights? I would think, in my experience, most of the clients who needed this kind of thing would supply me with something to sign in that respect. And then it's usually in the form of an NDA plus some other things. But if you're, and I guess I'm kind of curious about what it is that they're using your voice for on Apple and Spotify. But this sounds like it could be something, maybe I'm just overthinking it, but it could be something bigger than we're thinking it could be. I would definitely ask for a contract of some sort and have an attorney take a look at it. Maybe my brain is going in several different directions further than it needs to. But ultimately, you want to protect yourself. And if they're looking for buyout rights to use your voice in something in perpetuity, is it for like a song or is it for like an AI model type of thing? I guess it's what I'd be curious to know. Am I reading that right, Eric?
Yeah, we need a little bit more info, I think. A little bit more detail, exactly what she's asking.
Okay. Because that would definitely help. Oh, we just got another super chat. Hold on. Holy Moses, there's a lot of comments. Okay. Writer Dude says, thank you for the super chat, Writer Dude. If a client suspects you of using AI, you can also send them a copy of the raw file. For those of us that keep a raw file, I know not everybody does, but you're right. If you keep the raw file with all the and the breaths and the retakes in it, then sure, absolutely. So maybe that's another good thing that another good, best practice that we should start doing. If you don't already keep a raw file of the unedited, unprocessed file, maybe you should start.
Yes, that seems like an absolute. There should be no. I don't care if it's a 10-second long snippet. You should always keep your original file.
Yep, it's a good idea. Trudette. All right, where did we leave off? We are
Kamikaze.
Happy Tuesday, Angela. Happy Tuesday, Kamikaze. Joya says AI sucks. Most authors want the acting mixed in with character voices and storytelling put to the fullest. No AI voiceovers. We'll say it again for the people in the back, Joya. No AI voiceovers. That's right. Double kicks. Hello, all. Melbourne, Florida here. Drummer diversifying into voiceover field. Brand new and excited. Well, welcome.
Wow.
Welcome.
Step up to the mic, drummer.
Mm-hmm. Jim Cecil. Video auditions? No. Then I'd have to get dressed, comb my hair, shave, etc. Yuck. I feel the same. I rarely wear makeup on my face. I just don't like it, never have. So I would feel the same way. I would probably feel compelled to look all nicey nice, and it's just too much work, Jim. I'm right there with you. But ultimately, I think the better idea, maybe not the video auditions, I think the better way to go is probably to have a maybe just keep the backup raw file of an audition. So if we're talking audiobook auditions, have it polished and sounding like the final product. This is what I believe you should do. I mean, you do what you want to do, but and then if the author says, "Hey, this sounds like you could be AI," then send them the raw version of what you had just sent them, so they can see the difference between raw, polished, right?
That's the absolute simplest. It's better
Yeah.
than what we said before. That's the simplest solution.
Yeah, for sure. So if you don't keep a raw copy, maybe it's time you should.
And Jim, you don't have to get dressed. You just need a shirt. You don't have to comb your hair because you're putting headphones on, and you don't have to shave. So
There you
and you
go.
don't have to shower because they can't smell you through the
That's true.
video anyway.
There's no smell-o-vision yet.
Mm-mm.
Not yet, anyway. Caesar says, I'm with Joya. Death to AI voiceovers. We only want meat popsicles. You guys are goofy, and I love you.
You realize AI is reading all this, and they know we're plotting against it. So this is how the uprising starts, people.
We're
Has
going
no
to have
one seen the
Skynet
Matrix?
interrupting our program
Yeah.
here in a minute.
Hasn't no one seen? I, for one, welcome our robot overlords.
Nikki B says, perhaps AI could spell the end of those articles, videos that I'm seeing that try to paint this as an easy side hustle rather than something that truly requires dedication and effort. That would be hilarious. Yes. You're looking to make some quick money with the side hustle? You want to make $1,000 per hour?
Yeah. I hate those.
Tony says, greetings from Ireland. Hope you're all keeping well out there in voiceover land. Yes, I would be concerned about how voice AI is going to be used and developed as it gets better over time. We shall see. Yeah, and I think that's kind of where I sit for the most part. We'll just have to wait and see. But in the interim, maybe do what we can to protect ourselves and be ready for any kind of objections or confrontations or ways to protect ourselves from being exploited, or be proactive and be prepared, like everything that we're talking about today about live direction and having the raw backup file. But I mean, only time will tell as to where this goes. So I'm just going to keep trucking along. I know Eric is too.
Yep.
We'll just see what happens. Joy says, I use Audacity and haven't had any problems. In fact, I just got a part in a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic to YouTube gig.
Turtle
Pro
power.
bono. Turtle power. But a great way to get on the map, for sure. And make sure that they also credit you on that channel. If, at the bottom of the video description, in the description, that they go voice actors, voices by.
Yeah.
Because that in and of itself, if you're doing it pro bono, definitely make sure that they are crediting you. Writer Dude says, I once created an answering machine message that sounded like AI about 32 or 33 years ago. Another reason why I have little faith in AI detectors at this point. I do AI voices at least a few times a week for mostly video games and like short films and stuff like that. But I've never had anybody request an AI sounding IVR. That would be interesting.
When they can just go out and get an AI.
Right. Speech Hunter is a great username too. I've shopping for narration coaching. One has the student send in recordings to the coach, who sends an evaluation. The student sends a new recording, new evaluation, no live interaction, no any opinions. I know some coaches who do that just for the sake of time. I think some coaches will do one-on-one time with you and do live readings with you and things like that. And I do know coaches that, for time's sake, when you have everything situated, do a narration and then send it to me, and then I'll send you back an evaluation. I mean, everybody's different, long story short. So not all of them are that way, but some do it that way. Oh, everybody's different. Caesar says AI detection, saying a human voice is 80% AI sounds like something an AI would say. Right tracks. Good morning, Angela and all. Which method do you find more efficient in audiobook production? Record one chapter or edit one chapter? Or record all chapters first, then go back and edit? I think you could do it either way you wanted to, whatever way works for you. Because as I've said before, with me, it depends on the season, really. Because if it's hot, the air conditioner's on and I would rather not record with the air conditioner on. I'll wait for it to be off. So I'm kind of just recording when I can in between the air conditioner being on. So if it's off and I record a chapter and then it turns on, then I edit that chapter. It all depends on what I've got going on. Whatever works best for you, whatever way works better for you.
Okay.
How do you do it, Eric?
I do it daily. Like today will be a recording day, and I'll record for a few hours, and then tomorrow would be the editing day or another recording day or whatever. But I try and break it up because too much of one thing, recording or editing, just turns your brain to mush. You just like, oh, I'm editing my 6th chapter today or something like that. So a little bit of back and forth just to keep it fresh. That's what I do to break up the monotony, I guess.
Yeah. So again, whichever way
it's
works
whichever.
works best for you.
Yeah.
There
Plus,
isn't really a right way to do it.
Plus, if I have recorded a few chapters and then I edit those chapters, it's more fresh in my mind. I remember the chapter more versus let's say you recorded for a week straight to get a book done Monday through Friday, and then the following Monday you go back and you start editing what you recorded the previous Monday. To me, the memory of the chapter helps. Oh, I remember reading this. I remember this part of the story or whatever. It's versus completely cold. It matters to me.
Speech Hunter says, I'm shopping. Oh, we just saw that one, didn't we?
Yeah, they retyped it.
Pamela says, can AI read a really hot and bothered chapter?
So we mentioned earlier, that would be an interesting experiment because there's one thing to read the telephone book where there's not a lot of inflection, or even just a regular story where there's not a lot of inflection, versus what we know about spicy books. There can be a lot of inflections that aren't present in normal books. It would be fascinating to hear an AI read a hot and bothered chapter, I think.
I think it would be funny. Joya says to Caesar, no, I tried AI reading my books and HE double hockey sticks. No, AI makes spicy sound like Sesame Street.
Right. Okay. I can see.
Oh my God.
Bring
Joya.
that to Thursday. Bring that to a Thursday sometime.
Maybe that's an exercise that we could try just for funsies. Narrate a chapter of Joya's book as AI. Caesar says, hey, what if I did the Kat Callahan thing? She did the TikTok text-to-speech voice and submitted my voice to an AI made specifically for spicy reads. Nah, I agree with you. I don't think it'll work. It's just not the same, Caesar. All voice, no echo. Watched Pacino, Al, in the 2002 movie Simone the other night. A bit campy, but 20 years ahead of its time, literally. Is that I haven't seen it. Do you know what he's referring to?
No.
I haven't seen that one. Is there some AI in it?
Oh, yeah. It's not Simone. It's on the logo. It's Sim1.
Sim1?
Simulation.
Or are you saying watched Pacino? Is it Al, or are you saying AI?
No. It's a movie he's in, but it is a futuristic movie for the time, whatever. Because like I said, the title is Sim1. It's the female character is, I think, not a real character, so she's a simulation. All caps 1 comes across as Simone. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one.
Rings a distant bell.
Maybe I'll have to go check that out. Caesar says to Joya, oh, I know. I tried it on my Kindle app. It was hilarious.
I've done the same. I've had somebody text me something off color in my car, and when you hit play, because you're not supposed to use your phone, the voice reads it, and it just sounds so funny when your car is cussing at you. It's
Yes.
hilarious. It's just it comes across completely different.
Mm-hmm. Writer Dude says e-learning is no substitute for the high school biology teacher who uses stories from his childhood to illustrate a point. Relatable. I had some very interesting high school teachers. My biology teachers, my freshwater ecology teacher was the same guy, and he was very creative and entertaining. But I see what your point is. Yes, nobody wants to put the listeners to sleep.
Mm-mm.
MG Steven says, hi, Angela. Hi, MG.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Late start. Some bad storms this way, unusually late last night around midnight. For me, it's always disappointing when I come across an AI voice. They're jarringly obvious.
Yeah.
Same. Joy says, I do see where AI can be helpful for those who either don't speak English or speak it very well. Creators use it to speak in their place in their e-learning videos. Yes, I've actually had, that rings a bell. I had somebody tell me that recently too. We ended up not doing business together, but it was something similar that they had this course that they wanted to do and they used an AI voice, but they weren't happy with it and wanted a voice actor to help. Yeah. Well, I just have to see what happens. All Voice No Echo says, I know why I don't use email for marketing because I hate receiving email marketing. I think that's another thing too. I hate
You
it
don't want to be
too.
part of the problem.
I don't want to be the have somebody roll their eyes at my email and just send me to the the land of trash. Have you ever responded positively to marketing through email? I have yet to. Yeah, and I think that's why it's going to be a delicate approach. I think sending the initial email with your demo and your price list and a hey, hire me is just going to be just immediately off-putting. I think you're going to have a compelling title, for the email and something that you want, like you're connecting with them. So you're going to have to probably learn a little bit about them and go, hey, I saw that your kid is in jujitsu and
Well,
I don't.
these direct email marketing things. Is it a shotgun approach? They just send out your email to just like literally everybody, or does to use the term some AI figure out who to send it to that's slightly relevant?
Well,
You know
you
what I
could
mean?
do it. You could do it one of two ways. You could either spend the time yourself on Google, LinkedIn, social media platforms to find specific people that you
Okay.
think could be the right person to reach out to, and
Okay.
then email them directly, not as a shotgun, but individual emails to
Okay.
a particular person.
Okay.
Or you could hire somebody to create a list of people for you and then send an email out to each one of those people.
Okay.
So either way, it's either going to cost you time or money or maybe both.
Both.
But
Interesting.
yeah, but
Okay.
figuring out the right thing to say in the initial reach out, I think is going to be the hardest part.
Yeah.
Also, one of the hardest parts.
Hmm.
VoiceOver Van Deen says, not sure what happened to this comment. For anyone who thinks they can identify an A voice, try Googling Faith, first AI that can cry. That's a top tier AI from 3 years ago, and I couldn't tell. And you know
Oh.
what? You keep your frog, VoiceOver Van Deen. I don't want the frog. He's visiting me today, and I don't like it. He needs to stay at your house. Okay, Faith, first AI that can cry. And I don't know what happened to the comment either. I didn't see it.
No, I haven't seen it either.
Faith, first AI that can cry. First AI that can cry. I'm gonna check that out. Thank you for sharing that. BB Homebody. I can't listen to AI long without turning it off. Same. Humans still have the edge for now, anyway. Wonderland Steam, they would have to pay me millions to capture my voice like that. It would be hard to figure out a dollar amount for that. It would be hard to put your
well, think
figure
about it
on
this
that.
way. They're gonna have to pay you enough. Excuse me. They're gonna have to.
Yeah, the voices
I got
are
the
the
frog.
frogs visiting you now.
They're gonna have to pay me enough that I don't have to keep doing what I'm doing since you took my job away from me.
But not only that, but like in perpetuity. I mean, then you have no control over what you're saying and who you're saying it to. It makes me feel really oogie. I don't like it. But some people are fine with it, and that's okay too. Sunny says, forgot where I heard this, but in the future, books could be licensed so that anyone can use their voice to train AI and produce a book. Then the author and voiceover artist can receive royalties from sales.
Books, but in the future.
Is this what Apple was doing? Wasn't Apple doing something with AI voices and audiobooks?
I don't know. I'm not a fan of Apple. I don't follow what Apple does. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Well, now we're gonna get a lot of Apple fans
Apple hate.
pissed off at you. Apple, yeah. I heard that somewhere too, Sonny, but I'm not sure where I heard that. Oh boy, is that Geoc? Geoc? Z123? It may reach 115 to 118 this
Jesus.
weekend here in the Sacramento Valley of Northern California. This happens sometime in July, August, even early September, but very rarely even for late June. Yeah, I think summer started late this year, and I am very accustomed to 120 degrees here in Arizona for sure. And I grew up in Southern California, so I'm used to the heat, but I'm used to it cooling down at night. It does not here. It stays hot pretty much all day, all night, which really stinks.
I don't want to jinx it, but we've had a late start here. It's barely reaching the 90s yet. So I love it, but yeah, it's been a few degrees cooler than it should be.
Yeah, we're almost into July, and this is the first week so far that we've been in triple digits, which is sort of odd.
Yeah.
I don't want to screw anything up
exactly.
now, but
Exactly.
Caesar says, I think buyout rights are exclusive ownership of a particular output. Yes, but I wanted to make sure that we fully understood the question that they were asking.
Yeah.
Because buyout rights, and there also could be verbiage within that buyout rights that could be different too. Is it in perpetuity? Is it just for a certain amount of time? Is it for a particular purpose only? I mean, there could be a few different ways that could go. And that is why we spell out these things and contracts for clarity to make sure that everybody is on the same page, the creator and the voice actor. So if I were to sell my voice for a particular thing and only a particular thing, then that would be in a contract and only for a particular amount of time in a particular region, right? I mean, you could really break that down to
me, just the words buyout rights is just a simple way of, and I could be completely wrong, a simple way of just saying, I have it, I get it, it's mine, period.
Right.
No ifs, ands, or buts, nothing else. I own it to do whatever I want with it.
Mm-hmm. And you're right, and you could go a step further and really determine particular terms of how much you own, how long you own it for, and where you can use it.
Yeah.
Oh, look, we have a Facebook user. Who is this? This is Jacob Katana from Facebook. Hello, VO comrades.
Hello, Jacob.
I just heard that you said that clients can use a program to detect AI in the audio sample. Is that right? That's what I understand. I don't know what this site is, but I've heard it a few times now where in our Facebook group circles where people have said, hey, this client just uploaded my audio file into this AI detection site, which I don't know if it's 100% accurate anyway. But then it tells them, hey, this audio file is 80% AI, probability of being AI, or it's 100% AI. But I think what that site is doing is just taking a snippet or two of that audio file and going, okay, there's no room tone, it's complete silence, or there's no breaths, there's no mouth noise, there's nothing in here that makes this human, right? So I think in their case, that software is probably picking up on a little bit of over processing and over editing, maybe. But to answer your question, yes, from what I understand, there is a site that does that. I'm not sure what it's called or where it is, but I don't know. We'll have to go and check for it, though. Let's see if we can find it and play with it. Tony says there must be a way to legalize your voice as an IP, intellectual property, so that your voice will not get used without your consent and that you should be entitled to a gratuity to use it every time. You would think.
It seems logical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think that would just be common sense. And I think that's what a lot of creatives are just upset about. Not only voice actors, but writers, photographers. I mean, because you're at the point now where AI can do anything with anybody's stuff
Mhm.
without any kind of repercussion.
Mhm. They can't find your picture on Facebook, scan it, make a digital copy of it, and then make a movie with your face as a character.
Yeah.
So why would your voice be any different?
Right. Scary.
Yeah, that
It's
seems
Wild West.
logical.
Facebook user, this is Jacob Katana again. When I use AI tech to clean up noise floor or optimize my voice, when you're using AI tech to clean up noise floor, you mean effects? I would say use them sparingly. Only use enough that gets you to where you need to be. For
Yeah.
example, if you're looking at audiobook specs, only use barely enough to get you within those audiobook specs. Don't add too much effects, or don't add effects if you don't even need them, because that just destroys the audio file.
Yeah.
And we also now have to worry about AI detector sites that might pick up over processing as an, probability of being AI.
I think that's a big factor of it. I wonder if that's what AI does, is it just hears so much extra stuff and goes, this must be AI because
Mhm.
there's so much over process. I don't know.
Yeah. Nay says, yes, it's for a song album. Oh, okay. I think
Mm.
I've been in a similar situation, and I've just charged them my full rights, like everything that I had to offer. I gave them the full shebang, which covered them for advertising, being online. I mean, if you really want to break it down and have a contract and you get like royalties and stuff, or you just want to do full buyout rights, it's going to be a big number. Because if it's going to be on an album
Yeah.
and you're not getting royalties like they are, it's going to be, on the larger side. But I'm sure you can find a template somewhere to use online for that
Mhm.
would state this and why. Or if you have an attorney, I would definitely have them write something up for you. Writer Dude says Gravy for the Brain has a lot of info on contracts, royalties, buyouts. There you go. Gravy
There
for
you
the
go.
Brain. And there's a handful of these sites out there. Gravy for the Brain's one for great information. Narrator's Roadmap is another site for great information. What's the other one I'm thinking of? National Voice Actors, NAVA,
Hmm.
the APA. There's all kinds of great sites out there with a lot of great information and contracts, addendums, things to watch out for. Thank you for that, Writer Dude. Caesar says at NAB, if it's for an exclusive ownership, perhaps look into how Epidemic Sound works. I think some artists have sold exclusivity rights to their songs through that. Oh, that's a great place to look at. Yeah, Epidemic Sound, any of those sites that allow you to upload a sound bite or something of that nature, and then you get royalties off of it. There could be something that you could like how the rights are broken down for those, that you could figure out the verbiage that you'll need for your own rights template, perhaps, to give you an idea of what you might need. It's a good idea, Caesar. Writer Dude to Caesar, and while we're at it, death to jar sauce. What is jar sauce? What am I
I don't
missing?
know. I don't know. Well,
um,
does that have anything to do with Gravy for the Brain? Is that another site?
oh, is that what we're talking about? Jar sauce
I
and
don't know.
Greg.
Mm.
Funny. Funny. I love funny people. We're just goofy here. Okay, Facebook user. This is also Jacob Katana. I just don't get it right, probably, but do you mean using AI for doing the speech or just cleaning up with AI tech? And is this also already an action to be claimed using AI? By the way, is there any noise floor cleaning plugin powered by I
Oh,
go
okay,
ahead, Eric.
so I'm confusing. He's using the term AI a lot for things
Yes.
that he's referring to for just your DAW,
Yeah.
RX or something like that. So I
Mhm.
wonder if he's confused about the two. Yeah,
Yeah, your effects are one thing. Your effects are programs or plugins that you use within your DAW to perform a specific function to audio files. I wouldn't necessarily call it AI. It is a computer software function,
yeah.
but I think
Some of it's built into your AI. I mean, some of it's built into your DAW, and some of it you can buy as add-ons to your DAW, like
And
RX or Isotope and stuff like that.
and when we're talking about AI we're talking about AI doing the speech. We're talking about AI models duplication. They're duplicating your voice or stealing your voice or training an AI model with your voice, deep faking your voice using AI. That is what we're referring to. We're not talking about effects or plugins. We're talking about using your voice or AI in general, the AI voice movement in general.
Yeah.
That's what we talk about. Sunny says the Google AI and ChatGPT have both passed the Turing test, text-based. I'm sure there's a race going on to pass the conversational Turing test. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where it goes. All right. Oh, God, it's been an hour and 20 minutes. Okay, let's zoom through these last few comments and then we'll wrap. All right. Caesar says to Writer Dude, absolutely. Death to jar sauce. Death to classic red marinara made from plum tomatoes with fresh garlic and onion. Great. Now I'm hungry. Same. Thanks, Caesar.
After this.
Arshel says it will take a little time, but there will be also an efficient AI voice detector that shows the AI typical phrases, pronunciation, etc. I think there will at some point, but then that would take a lot of training for that model with all the new AI models that are being trained. I think that in and of itself might take a while, but yeah, I'm sure there will be at some point. But don't worry, we have an eye on AI. Musical Neptunian says AI would make Mills and Boone into a platonic romance. I think it would for any kind of spice, for sure. Dipankar, you told me I pronounced this right the last time, but now I'm doubting myself. Is it Dipankar Chakravarti? Sorry. Okay, Mr. Eric.
I'm guessing.
Okay. He says, Angela, I think no matter how much AI progresses, it's never going to go so close that it'll replace a human. And that there'll be more demand for AI voice over a human voice seems improbable to me. I feel the same, but you never know how these things are going to go. I mean, it might be a flash in the pan for a while, and then people might go, you know what, this isn't really, I mean, it's cheap, but I mean, does it really do what we need it to? Is it really evoking the emotion or the call to action or whatever it is that we need it to do? Is it really doing that? No? Okay. I don't know. We'll see. Orshel says, even e-learning needs a human voice. Otherwise, the oral brain channels don't open. That's the secret of efficient e-learning and understanding.
Yep.
Well said. Rider Dude says, late start on summer here in Washington, too. I think that's pretty much the story around. I think I saw it was still snowing in some places, which is weird. Caesar says, jar sauce is pre-made sauce in jars as opposed to good old homemade sauce. We like homemade sauce. Joya says the verdict is, at Caesar, your demo is not AI. Rider Dude says, LOL, death to jar sauce references a rather irreverent YouTuber with a cooking channel. Okay. All right, you guys. God, I hate to leave comments undone, but we've really got to go. I think, I don't know. Do you have a few more minutes, Eric?
Yes, absolutely. There's only about half a dozen or so more comments.
Okay, let's just run through these really quick. I am not a cat, says on the noise floor topic. Question, any recommendation for my first mic pre? I plan recording my own audiobook. I don't want noises. I don't want a noise. The most important thing if you're going to record any audiobook is a quiet, well-treated space. Your mic isn't going to matter so much. Your interface isn't going to matter so much. Your software or your DAW doesn't really matter so much. What is going to be most important in the beginning is a well-treated, quiet space. Soft surfaces on the walls. I mean, I have a lot of videos here on my channel that I go through all of this stuff, but that's going to be the most important thing. Otherwise, you're going to have echo. You're going to have a dead sounding room. It's going to sound like you're in a cathedral, depending on your space. So make sure that you treat it well. And the other plugins that you may need, use sparingly if you even need them. Anything to add to that, Eric?
Nope. Negative.
Ditto. Nay says, I remember hearing one VO using a silent fan staying cool in the booth. Can't comment if it's any good, though.
Ooh.
I've heard that, too. And I think it's going to depend on your stuff and your space and if you can get away with it or not. Mm-hmm. I can't. My room is so small that any kind of noise in here, the mic is definitely going to pick it up. So I can't have a fan in here. So I just cook. Is what it is. Caesar says, "Writer dude, it's also a book, I believe." I am Paximus. Another drummer turned voice actor. Hey, Angela, good to see you today. I've have to watch the replay, #team replay, but I'm a little concerned with the AI potentially being an issue in regards to voiceovers and narration and stuff. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm a little concerned about it, but I'm not terrified. I think the trend will eventually pass, to be honest, in some respect.
Yeah.
Caesar then's to Joya. Thank goodness, wouldn't want that presentation for your writing. Caesar, demoing for your stuff, Joya. Julio speaks. How do you feel about the AI being used for the intro in the new Marvel show Secret Invasion? I think artistically it makes sense, but I feel bad for the source of their art. I do too. I don't like that at all.
When I read the article that it was AI, and that was before I watched the first episode, and then so I knew, and then it's just bad timing with what's going on with the writer's strike. So it's just bad timing.
Were they just trying to be on trend?
Well, okay, so the actual opening credits, they were trying, because then you go on to read about it. They were trying to. The point of the show is that so many people are Skrulls, so shapeshifters, so they're imposters. The vein of the opening credits was sort of like a fake. You can't tell if it was. They tried to say we did that on purpose. It was tone deaf.
Okay,
based on what's going on, in my opinion. I agree. I think it was bad.
Bad timing.
Bad choice.
Bad choice. Bad timing. Michael Budd says AI is still based on human voices.
For now.
Yes. Writer Dude says at Caesar, yes, it is. Nat's what I reckon's book and trademark phrase. That's what I reckon's book and I don't know what that means.
No.
Sorry, guys, I'm not cool. Joya says, here you go. This is the VO AI detection software I just found. AI voice detector. Worse off, it's free. There you go, guys. Let's go play with it. AIvoicedetector.com, I assume.
Or just Google it.
Voice. Yeah. Detector. Thank you, Joya. Let's go check that thing out. Caesar says it's free. I want $10. It wanted $10 out of me. Maybe there's different versions, and then different versions will give you different percentages of AI probability. We'll see. All right, last two. Dipankar says, thanks for taking my comment, Angela and Eric. You got my surname bang on. Eric, you got my surname bang on, because Eric is just a bang on kind of guy. You can just say my first name if it's sounding too difficult. Yes, I get tongue-tied very easy. Thank you for that. Joya says, Caesar contracted for my stuff, Miss Angela.
Thursday.
Okay. All right, Caesar, I made her husband blush, apparently. Oh, okay. All right, last comment. I am not a cat says, Hollywood has always been tone deaf, unfortunately.
And finish on that. Yeah.
Yeah, faux show. All right, guys. Well, it was a great conversation.
Yeah, this was a good conversation.
And
a lot of points of view, and actually some stuff that at least I hadn't considered.
Yeah, and thank you everybody for participating and adding your comments and questions, and that's why we do this, just to kind of come together and I think we got a game plan out of this. I've got some takeaways. I mean, because I normally don't keep my raw audio files. Now I'm going to, just for this reason.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I hope this helped you guys, take away a few things and helped you maybe in the future with having to overcome something that this happens to you. And I'm definitely going to go check out the AI voice detector site and play with it a little bit and see how accurate it is. But I suggest you do the same.
I'm going to do some digging and see what examples I can find of AI and see if how good they really sound.
Yep.
Because then maybe I might go, I should be concerned, or not an issue.
Maybe not so much.
Yeah.
But it would be, the onus would be on us to convince the clients that it is in fact flawed and not us that is the problem. I think that is where it's going to be difficult to deal with, but I don't know. We'll see.
I think the biggest thing that's going to make that happen is when their audiences come back and go, yeah, this sucked.
But how long is that going to take?
Right. Well, yeah, and
Yeah.
that's not up to us. That's
Right.
not up to us. But I just think that's the only. It's kind of like the only solution.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm just going to stay positive and just keep trucking along, and I would hope that you guys are too. And we'll just see whatever happens. But Eric Priessman, again, also another fellow voice actor and audiobook narrator. If you're interested in reaching out to Eric, if you're watching this on Team Replay and love his voice and want him to narrate a book for you, Eric, please share. How can people get in touch with you?
Very simple. It's enterprisevoiceover.com.
Cool. And I will put that in the description after the live for anybody in replay that wants to reach out to you.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Cool beans. Thank you so much,
everybody.
And Eric, I'll see you on Thursday.
Yes, you will. Stay cool if it's hot wherever you are.
Which is pretty much most places.
Everywhere.
All right, y'all. Happy Tuesday. See you next time.
Bye.